Welcome to Podcast, the Business of Dentistry podcast, brought to you by Practice Plan. Podcast delivers the best business advice, real-life stories and practical hints and tips to make your practice a more profitable and sustainable business. And now, here's your host.
Hello and welcome to today's podcast. I'm Michelle Hardy, the Sales Support Manager for Practice Plan, and I'm delighted today to be able to join Fiona Ellwood. We're going to be talking to you a little bit about mentoring and how that can help you in practice. So, as a founder of Dental Mentoring Network and also a member of Dental Mentors UK, Fiona, could you tell us a little bit more about how you got involved with these?
Mentoring's always been a real passion of mine, and I think it was really framing what I was already doing. I tend to support and help other people find their way, but find their own answers. And as part of that, the Royal College of Surgeons England, the faculty were running a training course many moons ago. I was the only dental care professional that was involved in that. The rest of them were dentists and surgeons. I was accepted onto that course. It was a really tough course actually, and we had weekends where we were away from Friday to Sunday evening, had live case studies that we had to present, and an examination, a real examination, and everything was based on real life cases and studies. So it really embellished what I'd been doing, but it really gave me the strength to continue all the research and everything behind it. And then we went on the road and we were going around all the dental deaneries. We were supporting people who wanted to be trained to become mentors, and got involved with people who were then working with people who had been through the determination of the GDC and mentoring them in getting back to work. I decided that there wasn't enough out there for the rest of the dental team, and I'm a dental nurse by registration, so I looked into what we could do for dental nurses, and that brought about Dental Nursing Network. But what I did with Dental Nursing Network was I set it up for Dental Nursing Network, Dental Hygiene Network, Dental Therapist Network, and offered them the opportunity to roll that out for their own programs and their own profession. And that's been hugely successful. We've got a special interest group at the Society as well, and that's key for that starting point. If I just explain about Dental Mentors UK, which is a slightly different organisation, and that is where people who are trained and qualified and competent and who are continually being supervised. So you have to be supervised as a qualified trained mentor. It's part of the European Commissioning Framework and Code of Practice, and I belong to them, and we are a registrable group of trained and qualified and competent and supervised mentors that anybody can dip into. So it's not profession specific, and it's huge.
So I guess really, what does mentoring mean to you? Obviously you're very passionate about it. You know, how did you sort of talked a little bit about your journey to get there, but what does it mean at the heart of that for you?
I think your comment sort of touches on what it means. It's the heart of who I am. It's changed who I am. I would have said beforehand that my world was very black and white, and I would never have entertained grey in my world, and never looked or seek out what made the greyness in my world. And now I'm very happy in that grey area. It's made me more understanding of other people, to be able to look at things through another lens, and in the shoes of others people really, and to help them, facilitate them, to try and find their way through things. And the language that I'm using is really important because it's very different. Mentoring is very different from coaching, very different. Sometimes I use the word coach-ment, which brings them together, but the mentor and mentorship is about looking at somebody's situation, the situation they present, helping them unpick it, helping them find their answers so that they value the result and then the outcome.
Okay, so what actually inspired you to become a mentor in the first place, and what were the first steps? How did you go about that?
I think if you asked anybody that question who even hadn't been through the training and didn't have the insight or foresight to look at it more, you would discover that everybody has had a mentor in some guise. They may not have worn the title or had the training, but I think we would ask everybody to sort of say, who was your mentor? Who was that person you looked up to? Who was that person you framed your existence around in your professional life? And that's what it was for me. I had somebody in my eyesight who I just admired implicitly, the things that they had done. They weren't the same professional group as me, But actually, I don't see that as a barrier. I think people create that as their own barrier. And I think we can all mentor each other. Peer mentoring, there's so many different types of mentoring. But peer mentoring for me was something that happened to me, that I sought out. And I think I wanted to follow that journey on, but make it stronger and make sure it was there for the whole team. Because that's the thing, that's always the missing piece in my jigsaw, in everything I do. Okay, it's there for that professional group, but why is it not there for the nurses?
Yes, of course. And so why do you feel that perhaps mentoring is so important for the dental profession specifically?
It's so important because it helps you in your daily life, it helps you in your journey, it helps you plan your career, your next steps, your next move. It stops you getting into areas of difficulty, or it has the impact to actually navigate you around those areas of difficulty. And I think if we're all true to ourselves, it helps with self-efficacy, it helps build confidence, it helps you be you, it helps you be creative.
Yeah, and I know you've touched on this already, so we possibly know the answer, but, you know, why do you feel that mentoring is so important? Is it important for all members of the dental team to have that coach?
Absolutely. And, you know, even right from the student, we mustn't forget the student, the people who are coming in to the next generation. And we certainly shouldn't forget those who are coming to the end of their career, because we tend to put them to one side and not think that they need mentoring. But actually some of them might feel quite lost at times as things progress, as technology progresses, as techniques progress, they perhaps haven't bought into that. Then ultimately they need that mentorship as well.
So how do you feel interestingly then? I mean, obviously, have you applied the benefits to mentoring in your own life, and how does it help you with that?
Absolutely. So not only have I taken the steps and sort of seen that mentor and had that mentor, I've reached out to ask for mentors. And the thing about it helping you design your way forward, or in an ambition to do something, is that you look at the people who were there, you look at the people who are doing that and who are doing it well, or fit your values and your ethos, and then you can follow that. And you can facilitate then, you take those skills on board, and if you really get consumed by it, you can facilitate that within others. But I've taken those components that I've learned, and I've taken different courses and worked and expressed my qualities. I've taken hold of them as well, I've applied them to me, and they have really confounded who I am. They've helped me plan and look at things, they've helped me seek out the right people, and by that they're people who I think have got value, the right ethos for me as a person, and who like and have been successful in the fields that I love as much as I love mentoring.
Okay, so it's obviously very rewarding, Fiona. So if someone was looking for a mentor, where do they start? Where's the obvious place to start, or is there an obvious place? Or
they're not that well profound, but I think it depends on what they're looking for a mentor for. There is plenty of signposting. I think for me, it is about finding the right mentor, not just going to a place that offers mentors. It's one thing that I'm very, very strong about, and that's toxic mentor relationships. And that's when we get power and hierarchy, and you haven't chosen your mentor, you're given a mentor. And that relationship very rarely works. You have to, we did a thing, it was a brilliant thing, and I wish it would come back, and it was called speed mentoring. And it's very much like speed dating. We set it up on that. It was wonderful to do, so exciting, where we had a bell ringer, and basically the people who wanted to mentee moved around the tables and talked about themselves, because a relationship in mentoring is that rapport, and you know whether you've got the right person. So it isn't always about skills and values, and it was a brilliant experience. It's so exciting and funny. But I think going back to your main question is, if you're not particular about it being in the field and you want general mentorship, then Dental Mentors UK, they have a list of trained and reputable mentors. If you want it profession specific, then I know that the Society of British Dental Nurses have got mentors. They've got a mentoring working group as well, which people can be part of. And I know that the Hygiene and Therapy group have also got their, BSDHT have got their mentorship group as well.
Okay, it sounds so rewarding, and you know, obviously I'm sure you've worked with lots of people, but what I'd love, Fiona, is if you wouldn't mind, have you got any real standout stories about someone you've mentored that you wouldn't mind sharing with us today?
mentored quite a lot of people actually, and quite bizarrely, not all nurses. And I think I have to emphasise that is when you take this role on, you can be a mentor and not your registrable group. When I first trained, I was asked to not tell anybody I was a nurse by background or that I was a DCP, because in that training environment, I was a mentor. And you can be a mentor without being those other things. I was a little bit hesitant about that. And when I discovered why, it was because we were training dentists and consultants, and they would, by their professional background, they wouldn't have opened up to a dental nurse.
Yes.
It's just this hierarchy and these barriers, aren't there? So actually we didn't, we just said, I was one of the experts. I'd said it had been life-changing for me and that I was profound in what I did, and everybody in all of the work we did opened up to me like they did everybody else, so it was the right thing to do.
Just finding that right person makes such a difference.
It's important, and I think we've got to get rid of this hierarchy. It's the skill set, and that for me is hugely, hugely important to get the right person.
Well, Fiona, I've really enjoyed chatting to you today and finding out a little bit more. Obviously we've only scratched the surface today, but hopefully it's inspired a lot of people to consider it. We all hopefully can be helpful to someone. But thank you so much for your time today, and I hope other people listening out there are going to enjoy it equally as much.
You're welcome, and I just recommend that they get the right person and the qualified and trained person to do it.
Thank you.